All right, hey everyone. This is Nash, and we got another Texas video for y'all today. Texas is going up against Kansas this weekend. I don't know why I put a little bit of emphasis on that, but oh well. Maybe because we should beat the crap out of them, but, we're Texas, and Texas is doing Texas things recently, so some of these things are up in the air as far as are we going to play how we should, blah, 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 etc., so on and so forth. But there were some big things that happened over the week. One, Joshua Moore is no longer on the football team. He has entered the transfer portal. This has happened in the past, but Tyler Owens in the transfer portal as well. I believe there was a rumor of one other player possibly entering the portal, and that might have been the guy that recorded Bo Davis. The biggest thing to happen this week was Bo Davis leaving the Iowa State game. If you haven't heard this, he chewed the ever-loving crap out of the players' asses. I mean, he got onto them. And if you haven't seen, I have the video of it's purely just the losing. Or not losing, it's just the video. And in that video, like I said, he's tearing that ass up. He's letting them know, hey, if you want to transfer, go. We don't want you here. Bye. See you later. I think that really hits at the core of a lot of the entitlement issues that Texas has been facing over the last, not 10 years, but just really the last 5-6 years. But so here's kind of a little bit of snapshot of some of the players' reactions to this. I mean, overall the reaction was, that guy's got to go. Whoever recorded that video, that guy's got to be off the team. And as you'll see in a second here, Sarkisian, he said he's going to let this he will let this be up to the team to make the decision on whether or not to kick the guy off the team. And that they're going to handle the discipline internally. Which, there you can see. One thing that he said that jumped out to him was that Bo Davis, it was the passion. And if you hear it, yeah. And it's because it's the dude's job on the line. That's what some of these dudes don't realize. Oh, I'm playing bad. Yeah, I'm doing bad. It's just affecting me. No. Bo Davis is trying to feed his family based off the results that these dudes put on the field. You get a lot of bad years like this, and then people are going to start asking, is Bo Davis still a good coach? I say, I still side with Michael Griffin. I've beaten this horse dead at this point, but the players have been put in the proper position to execute. And no better example is against Iowa State. They got absolutely torched and I wish I'd planned to put this in, but they got absolutely torched on it was like a fake. It was like a reverse pitch back, flea flicker. It was like a flea flicker type play, trick play, and they had been beaten on it before, the week or two before. It was either against Oklahoma State or Baylor, and they told the team, "Hey, watch out for this. This is coming." They told them exactly what was going to happen, and what happens? Wide receivers running all alone down the field. Nobody within 20, 30 yards of him. Is that the coach's fault? The coaches can't step on the field and start playing for the players, They can do everything in their power to get these guys to say, hey, that guy, he's going to get the ball. You might want to pay attention to him. Oh, coach, it's all right. I think he's going to run it here. And then a fake. Oh, yeah. So, at a certain point, it was like under Charlie Strong. I don't get this, is because people for the longest time they were pissed off at Charlie Strong and Tom Herman for saying, Well, why don't you just come out and say it that it's the player's fault when it's the player's fault? Because there were a lot of coaching mistakes, and hey, when it's time to own up for a coaching mistake, own up like Sark does. That's nice to hear. Accountability. It's nice to have around the football program for once in a while. But there was never any accountability put on top of the players. And with Sarkisian, he does that. Yes, it's a team effort. There's accountability on him. There's accountability on the players. Accountability all around. And for all the people that think that Tom Herman would have had this just way better, think again, because, and I'm done beating the dead horse, but play calling wasn't there, the coaching decisions weren't there, and then you add on top of all of that we would have less playmakers on our roster than we do right now. And that's the number one thing that's killing Texas. Orange Blood's had a great piece on this. Depth. There is a depth issue at Texas. So, and it was actually specifically one of Jeff Ketchum's articles, who's taken a lot of heat recently. And, part from me, I've called him out for a few things. I'm a dodo. But, so go subscribe to Orange Bloods. I'm not being paid free advertising, but to no one. But if anybody is unsubscribed to them, and he pointed out a lot of good things, saying we've lost a lot of playmakers over the last 3, 4, 5 years. Every year, except for this last year, has been we're losing 12 to 13 guys per recruiting class. We're losing half a recruiting class every year. So, when you start losing pieces like that, the developmental depth, it goes bye-bye. And maybe that was an issue for why Tom Herman never could develop, and that's because he could never keep the guys there on roster to develop. So it was always rotating a circle of undeveloped players, if that makes sense. Or if I'm making sense. And then, two, that backup depth would be going a long way right now for our fourth quarter woes. Because, and Sarkisian has said it's not a conditioning thing. But if it's at all related to conditioning, having more bodies would surely help that. And if a player's not doing good, well, hey, we got another guy that can fill in. If a guy's got the yips or whatever it is. But so the video is very nice to hear Bo Davis, finally ripping into these guys. And this is just something that we heard. It finally something got out. The video, first off, and I'm already however many minutes into talking about this interaction. It should have never gotten out. It should have never seen the light of day. This is a thing that should have stayed in-house, and in-house inside the locker room, and in the clubhouse. It's just, and that's what you go back to this reaction screen that we had. I mean, they're saying that guy's got to be off the team, this is I don't have it right here, but somebody they were saying this is family talk right now, That's the family. That's the team. So, we got Kansas on the docket here. Now, Kansas, they haven't, just like Texas, has not been a stellar football team. Surprise, surprise. I don't know if anybody's surprised about that, but the one crazy thing is just how we started out at the top of the Big 12, not just top of the nation in offense, and we've just slowly gone down and started getting worse. And it's because we're one-dimensional. We can't pass the ball. I was probably a little bit too harsh to say we don't have an answer for quarterback on the roster right now, but playing how they've been playing recently, it ain't going to get the job done. We need 4 quarters, keyword, 4 quarters, or keywords, of sustained QB play. It doesn't have to be outstanding. It doesn't have to be world, it doesn't have to be this great show of force at the quarterback position. We got good running backs. And you'll see in a minute, Bijan Robinson and Roschon Johnson are game-time decisions. But still, even then, we still have very capable running backs, especially when we're going up against the worst run defense, and not just the Big 12. One of the worst run defenses in all of college football. You will not find a worse run defense that we're going up against this year. And it's, in a way, it's kind of sad that Bijan Robinson's not going up against this guy or these guys to, destroy them. But at the same time, would it be fair? Would it be fair to take a guy like Bijan Robinson, who, and I was trying to think of world beater. That's the word that I couldn't think of for a second about. But a guy like Bijan Robinson, who is a world beater, it would just be unfair to put him up against one of the worst teams in the Big 12, and not one of the worst teams in college football. I mean, this is a dude that there are a lot of people that think that this dude could play on an NFL roster right now. And you're crazy for saying that. No. The running back position is very different. You're either cut or you aren't. You either got it or you don't. And if you got it, you need to use that while you're young. So, but the passing game needs to be there. And it's not the fact that the wide receivers haven't been getting open, haven't been catching balls. Yes, Joshua Moore dropped 1 touchdown pass in that game against Baylor. Well, and Joshua Moore no longer... I'm not using this as a case for Joshua Moore. I'm saying in that same game, there was also a pass where Xavier Worthy was wide open, probably as open as the guy for Iowa State against us on that trick play. But Casey Thompson drifted the ball too far out of bounds. If he hits him inbounds, Xavier Worthy could breakdance into the end zone. The dude could he could moonwalk. It just ridiculous. So the blame doesn't just go on one position group, but it doesn't only belong on the quarterbacks. It's a group effort, but the group's got to start playing better as a whole. The running backs we cannot be this one-dimensional team that said, okay, stop the run and you stop Texas. I mean, that's what we are right now. Our run defense, they're pretty banged up at running back. They're on like their 3rd or 4th running back, but he's not a bad running back. And going up against our Texas defense, our run defense is our defense just recently has just not been. The tackling has been getting worse. I'll actually pull this up on the thing here. So Rod Babers, he put out a thing showing, according to PFF, Texas is leading the Big 12 missed tackles, 110. It's our 3rd most in the last 3 seasons. Not last 3. I'm reading this wrong. But he's saying in the last 3 seasons we've had a lot. 157 in 2019, 133 in 2018. Or no, 2020, and 110 in 2021. And that's only so far, so we could get worse. But 51 out of 110 of these missed tackles came from Jaron and Josh Thompson, DeMarvion Overshone, and Brockermeyer. I almost said Blake Brockermeyer. Luke Brockermeyer. But it's going to make sense that Overshone and Brockermeyer have majority of these misses, considering they are linebackers that are consistently at the point of tackle. Couple things. One, a lot of people that talk crap about BJ Foster, yeah, sometimes the effort does look questionable on the screen, right? His tackling has gotten a lot better, and he's also been one of our most productive defenders. I don't get why. I do get it because he quit a game back in 2020 under Tom Herman, mid-game, and they've never forgiven him over that. And it kind of shows there are some unforgivable mistakes that you cannot make. And then, as of this morning, the line has been moved up to 31-point favorite for Texas because the Kansas quarterback is officially a game-time decision. And that was just this morning. So, Kansas, they're not doing real much better on the game time decision front with us being out Bijan Robinson and Roschon Johnson. I think that just helps us even more. But our total yards per game on offense, we're at 420 yards per game, and I had to whip this up just for that. A little bit of meme action. And I kind of had to get out ahead of myself ahead of the crowd, just in case we have a close game or a loss under Sarkisian this weekend. I mean, this is under Herman. So the last two matchups, we've been not only within one score, but the last one, we won only by 2 points. A game-winning field goal, 33-yard field goal. I mean, I literally remember watching that game in a bar, and just think, is what I'm watching real? Are we really about to lose to Kansas? We didn't, but it was close, and I had an Ohio State buddy that was giving me quite a hard time that night too. The year before, the year before. The year that we made to the conference championship game. This is actually the game that allowed us to go to the conference championship game. And I kind of almost forgot about this until I started looking at this game and, going back at it. This was a damn heart attack, this game. And for all the people saying, oh, well, Tom Herman never had these fourth quarter meltdowns. I don't know if you can see this. It looks an awful lot to me like at the end of the half, and actually at the start of the half for 4 or 5 drives of both teams, Kansas had 0 points on the board. And then they just miraculously came up to 17 points in the fourth quarter. So the fourth quarter meltdowns aren't exactly just something brand new around Texas, okay? The consistency of the fourth quarter meltdowns and the consistency of losing games, that's a little bit new. But it's got to get better. And the only reason why I pulled this up is because, people were saying, that we would be so much better under Tom Herman. No. Tom wasn't that great. I don't know if it's recency bias is the right word, or the right term, but just because Sarkisian is doing bad recently, you're forgetting all the horrible things that we suffered under Tom Herman. So I've mentioned Roschon Johnson, Bijan Robinson, DeMarvin Overshone, all game-time decisions. Steve Sarkisian, Jonathan Brooks. This dude runs very smooth. And this video is kind of running long. I've been kind of rambling on a little bit too much. But I love watching this dude run. I know it was only against Rice. If you go watch on my channel, the every play versus Rice, and I need to start doing those videos some more. But if you watch those runs that Jonathan Brooks had, the dude is just, I cannot think of another word than smooth. It's the only thing that comes into my head. And I didn't watch too much of Walter Payton or anything like that, or Eric Dickerson. But when you hear people talk about how smooth of runners they were, it just, man, it literally. I'll have to go watch some of their, not just highlights, but their runs, because the way that this dude transitions from jukes to spins and just keep on moving. I was telling my it looks like a choreographed dance. It looks he's not. It looks like a ballerina. It looks beautiful. It looks like an artwork, like a masterpiece, being painted right in front of your eyes. I don't know. I hope that continues against better competition. Now, if he does get a lot of run, technically I think Kansas is a worse run defense than Rice this year. So who knows what that'll really be telling us, but I'm excited to see this dude as well. And then you also got Jatavian Sanders. I didn't put this up here, but Jatavian Sanders and Gunnar Helm are two guys. Gunnar Helm and Juan Davis are three guys that have really been impressing Steve Sarkisian recently. And I like to hear that, because our tight ends right now, as athletic as Jared Wiley is and as good as he may be, they've kind of almost fallen off the map. And they're blocking. It's probably because they're having to assist the offensive line a lot more. But receiving, they haven't given off like Charlie Kohler, for example. When you see him, he is a playmaker. We have not gotten the playmaker vibes from some of these guys. Hopefully we do. Otherwise, I would like to see more of. I said it last in one of my recent videos. We haven't seen much of Jatavian Sanders, and maybe that was a bad call at the beginning of the season to say he's going to be hopefully factoring in, or else we're doing good. But hopefully we start to see these guys factor in, because I would really like to see what they look like. I think the biggest reason why we haven't is the blocking's just got to get there. Gunnar Helm, we haven't seen much, but from what we've seen of Gunnar Helm, Juan Davis, and Juan Davis has had a few looks throughout the year. And Jatavian Sanders, those dudes are all athletic enough to be difference makers on offense, as far as pass catching goes. We just got to see about the blocking side, but can't be much worse than what's going on right now. I'll catch y'all later. Appreciate it. I will be at the Texas game this weekend, tomorrow. So hopefully we get to see Kansas lose, Texas win at home. That'd be pretty embarrassing if we lose to Kansas at home. And then we got Baylor. No, not Baylor. Oh, Gonzaga. I don't know. A brain fart right there. Texas is playing Gonzaga at home. The Frank Irwin Center, I believe. So watch that immediately. Like, I'm going to be driving home and I'm going to be listening to the Gonzaga game on the radio. I don't know how that's going to go with Craig Way, if he's going to be doing both or if he's going to be doing just the Baylor game. I keep saying Baylor. I do not know what's going on. The Gonzaga game. Because obviously Gonzaga playing Texas in basketball is probably at this point far more important to cover than Texas playing Kansas. Well, I already said it once. I'll say it again. Catch you guys later. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Hook 'em.